My name is Ryah, and you're watching Ryah's World.
Welcome to Ryah's World. Well, welcome to Ryah's World, where the thoughts run deep, the conversations are real, and the truth don't whisper, it speaks. Welcome to Ryah's World, where the mind goes free, every thought in the universe floating endlessly. We talk love like truth unfurled. Let your voice be heard.
Alrighty. Hello, everybody. Happy Monday. It has been a week. It has been a weekend. I hope everybody is doing great. I hope y'all aren't feeling like the weather. It's a little gloomy outside. Hope everybody's spirits is up. As we do every Monday, we're of course gonna do our meditative breathing, just to reset our nervous systems, get us back, re-regulate it. Probably a lot of traffic, a long day at work. So if you're somewhere comfortable where you can close your eyes, go ahead and close your eyes with me and take 3 good deep breaths in. Alrighty. Now, y'all, I wasn't able to hit y'all with a pre-show this week, but we will be discussing the unrealistic expectations that are placed on eldest daughters, especially in the Black community. And I want to start this off by saying, as Black people, we have to protect our Black daughters more. We have to protect our eldest daughters more. And I know most of y'all are probably thinking, I do protect my baby. I'm real protective of my baby. I make sure that she's safe wherever she goes. I'm not talking about physical protection. We're talking about emotional protection. We're talking about the protection that happens behind closed doors when she is safe in the house, when the doors are locked. What type of protecting are we doing then? Because as being an eldest daughter of an eldest daughter of an eldest daughter, it's just we don't get any emotional protection. And I feel like it's one of those silent battles that we have to fight so hard with, even after leaving the house. So I want to start this episode off by starting with a poem that I read, and it's called The Story of the Eldest Daughter's Misery. The eldest daughter, the second parent, the first line of defense when things go wrong. Responsible for keeping the family together, responsible for keeping the home in one piece. Don't let the screams of your parents arguing tear down the walls of the house. Don't let your younger siblings feel the consequences. Keep them away. Don't let them see the repercussions. Carry it on your back instead. Carry the weight of the world on your back that was only built big enough to carry the weight of your own personal problems. Somehow, with every load that is added, you managed it. But oh, you're so close to collapsing. Those shoulders are bruised and scarred, with every mark signifying a different trauma. The pain is greater than anything you've ever felt, and worst of it all, no one hears you cry. Your cries are silent, your stories go unheard. Pillows are drenched with tears until you have no more left to cry. Raised voices bring an innate fear of the worst, but you keep it all together because you love your family. Your mom needs help. Your siblings don't deserve this. They deserve better. But they all forgot. So do you. Being the eldest daughter is a silent burden. It's such a lonely feeling. The responsibility you are confronted with changes your story. You almost miss out on life because of your other issues that you're dealing with. You have to protect the family. You grew up beyond your years at such a young age. Always mature, the sensible friend. You can't afford to be reckless. There's too much riding on your competency. This instinctive maternal nature is embedded so deep within you. You didn't ask for this. You don't want this stress, but you know that your mother's tears are more than enough to fill a river. You've witnessed her struggles and you want to ease her pain. You didn't deserve this. You deserve better. You've inherited her sorrows. It's a generational trauma, and you are just another victim. When you're the eldest daughter, people forget that you're a child. No expectations are made for you. Just deal with it. You have to do it because who else will? How could you be so selfish to refuse to pay a bill from a minimum wage part-time job where you'll only be making $10 an hour to let stretch for 2 weeks at 17 years old? How dare you feel any type of frustration? Do you know what your mother goes through? Now, that hit real deep. That hit real hard. And I feel like I could relate more so because I have a young mother. So I was growing up with my mother. I had to learn, my mom had to be an adult while simultaneously being a child. And in turn, I had to be a child while simultaneously being an adult. And I feel like, especially in the Black community, more specifically, we are placed on these pedestals or these extra high expectations to play the second parent without necessarily given the opportunity to be our own people. So, when you're the eldest daughter, you don't necessarily have the opportunity to pick a job or pick a passion or pick anything that you want to be good in because as soon as you come out the womb or as soon as your siblings come out the womb, you're automatically given that job. You're automatically given that task. You're already given that role and that responsibility. And it's just like you lose your sense of self because it's just like, all I know how to be is a parent. And with that, and with having younger siblings, you have to understand that your family won't necessarily always clap for you because you're kind of expected to do the right thing. And it's just like in those expectations, you kind of forget that it's okay to be human. It's okay to mess up. It's okay to have differences. It's okay to have feelings. And when people, especially when parents hold that over their heads, especially when Black parents hold these unrealistic expectations over the heads of oldest daughters, it makes them so sheltered. It makes them not want to open up. It makes them not want to be engaged because they don't know how, parents don't necessarily know how to engage with them outside of them being that oldest daughter, outside of them being that second parent, outside of them being their safety net. You feel me? So I want to talk more to the parents this episode because I know that a lot of people my age are definitely going through this, especially if you're somebody like me who's moved back into the house and you've taken back on those responsibilities. I want to talk to the parents because it might be some things that y'all don't even necessarily know that y'all are doing. Something that y'all went through as kids that y'all are inherently pushing onto your kids now, not necessarily understanding that that's a generational trauma and that's something that is going to affect her in the long run. With being the eldest comes so much pain that goes untalked about. You are the therapist for everybody. You are the one that has the couch. You are the one that has the shoulder that everybody could cry on, everybody could sleep on. But when have you ever been able to be the patient? When have you ever been able to be the one to sit there and really talk about your pain and really talk about the things that are hurting you and what you're going through without feeling like, oh, I just got to take it to the chin. Oh, I just got to be okay with it. Oh, let me just suppress it. Because the more that you suppress those emotions and the more that you kind of tell yourself to forget about it, the more that it'll pop up, the more that it'll show itself, the more that that untold or that unheard trauma will start to manifest itself into your life, i.e., relationships. When you think about most eldest daughters get into these relationships where they're with broken people because they are only taught to know how to nurture. They're only taught to be the person that fixes and helps and gives and makes sure that the other person is right. Like statistically it's proven that eldest daughters typically end up in domestic or violent situations simply because they think that they're that person that can fix people. And I obviously can speak from personal experience of thinking that I could be that superhero for everybody, not realizing that some people genuinely cannot be saved. It's just it's unfair in a sense because it's just like, why do I have to be that person? Like in a poem said, we don't necessarily ask for this role. We don't necessarily ask to be the first, but it's just like when we do, when we are put into those roles and when we are expected to be that person, we just need leeway from our parents to understand that we are still kids at the end of the day. We are still siblings at the end of the day. We are still young at the end of the day. Like, there's so many unreal expectations that are placed upon us, and it's such an immense amount of pressure that when you end up when you end up in a situation, or when you end up in an experience, or when you end up with somebody that goes against the grain of everything that everybody has been placing onto you, you kind of feel like a failure. You kind of feel like there is like you just messed up everything, because it's like so many people are banking on you to be this perfect person that you kind of forget that you're not a robot. You kind of forget that you're not somebody who you're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna mess up. You're gonna fall. Like, it's the pressure that's put on eldest daughters is, and I wouldn't say that eldest sons don't necessarily go through this, but I feel like where they, quote unquote, I wouldn't say fall short, but I'll say what they lack is that nurturing side. And I feel like because women are so natural born nurturers, we have no choice but to be that person, you know? Eh, Just to the parents, like I said, I want to talk to y'all this episode. To the parents, give her grace. No matter how young, give her grace. Allow her to figure out who she wants to be. Allow her to mess up. Allow her to hit her head. Allow her to figure out who she is before you put her in a box to be a person. Remember that those aren't her kids. She did not ask for this role. Just be patient with her, because we take on so much hurt. We take on so much trauma. We take on so much strife from not only ourselves, because we necessarily don't even feel our own personal pain because we're suppressing it with everything that everybody else has going on, that we become this angry and this sheltered and this avoidant individual because we've never necessarily had the space or the opportunity or the privilege to be open with how we feel, or to be open with our pain or the things that we've been through. We've always just been the ones to take it to the chin and be that person for everybody else without having that person for us. And I feel like even most older siblings can agree with me on this one. When you mess up, you're basically the fuck up, unfortunately. But then to double back and see your siblings do something similar or something worse, it's like it's almost like a slap in the face. And it's just like stuff like that is what creates resentment among siblings, because it's like, I went through all this pain. I went through all this hurt. I went through all this trauma just for you to get it easy. And I know most people say, "Oh, well, as the oldest sibling, you're supposed to create the path." That's not fair. And parents got to understand that that is not fair whatsoever. Punishments need to be consistent across the board, because when inconsistencies come in, that's when the sibling trauma or the sibling tension starts to arise, because it's like, I got in so much trouble for this and you just got on a slap on the wrist for this. Like, how is that fair? And it's like, sometimes it's so easy to ignore. It's so easy to ignore the oldest child, because it's like, oh yeah, that was my test dummy of a kid. That was the kid that I was trying to figure things out with. And it's just like, we understand that and we give our parents grace. But it's just like, we can't continue to be y'all's punching bags, especially being the eldest daughter. We cannot continue to be y'all's test dummies. We cannot continue to be that person that you're just trying things with because it's your first kid. We give y'all grace, but in the same breath, we need the same grace. And I don't feel like we necessarily have that. With being the eldest, you have to be your own everything growing up. You have to be your own teacher. You have to be your own therapist. You have to be your own parent, essentially. You have to be your own stylist. You have to be your own hairstylist. You have to be your own everything. And it's just like, when you go to turn to look around to who's going to help you, nobody's there to help you. And it's kind of like, it's a sad reality. I've kind of come to terms with it, and I feel like I'm pretty okay with it now, but not being able to necessarily turn to anybody is something that I know I still am trying to deal with. And granted, I now have people that are around me that can offer me assistance in certain areas. It's kind of hard now to ask because it's like I've never had that person or I've never had those people who were able to sit in and help me or be there when I needed them because I've always been that person for myself. So in those moments where you even feel like your daughter has it all together or even when you feel like your oldest son has it all together, they still need help too. They still need that support too. They still need those people to be there for them as well because it's just like we were the ones that was something for everybody without necessarily having anybody for us. And I can say that growing up, I felt like my greatest characteristic was people pleasing. Did I necessarily feel like that was my greatest characteristic? No. But everybody else, like, that's what I felt like I was supposed to do. That's what I felt like I was put on this earth to do was to please everybody, to make sure everybody was okay, to give it my all and to basically exhaust myself till my battery was drained to make sure that everybody else was okay. And now that I'm older and now that I'm trying to step outside of my people pleasing ways and now that I'm trying to step outside of making sure that everybody is straight and really being selfish instead of being selfless, it feels so foreign. It feels so different. It feels like I'm gonna get in trouble for it. It feels like something that I'm not even supposed to be doing because I've never known how to do it. And stuff like that trickles into your relationship. Stuff like that trickles into your friendship. Stuff like that trickles into the homes that you're trying to build, your jobs, your workspaces, things of that sort. Because it's like that's what we've been instilled. That's what's been taught to us. That's what has literally been drilled in our heads since we was kids. And it's just like we can't keep doing that. We gotta be honest with ourselves. We can't keep doing that. We can't keep we can't keep our eldest daughters, we can't keep our eldest sons, we can't keep the oldest. Scratch the gender. We can't keep the oldest to this unrealistic expectation of being perfect or being there for you 25/8 or being that person that everybody needs all the time because it's like when they get older, what are they going to do? Who is going to be there for them? How are they going to operate in situations where there's people actually trying to extend themselves to them and there's people that are actually trying to reach out to help them, but they don't know how to ask for help? How do we receive help? How do we receive something that we've never been given? It starts in the homes. And that's something that we as people need to start focusing on. Like that I know the youngest is always like your main focus, but we cannot overshadow the eldest because the older that they get, the easier that it is to suppress things and the easier that it is to hide things. And then when they leave your house, you don't know who that person is. You don't know who they are. So then when they come back to your house, it's like, oh, this is a totally different person. Why are you acting like this? Why are you being like this? You never knew my personality or who I was outside of who I was in this house. You never knew my personality or who I was outside of my roles in this house, outside of my roles in this family, outside of what I could do for y'all. Not who I could be for myself or what I could do for myself, but what I could contribute to y'all. And it's like it sparks something else. You never feel like you're good enough. You never feel like you're worthy enough or you never feel like you're going to hit the mark when it comes to people's expectations because you feel like I can do more. I could have done more. I could be that extra person. It's always that overthinking that comes with being the eldest simply because you've always had to overthink and you've always had to overcompensate and you always have to overcorrect and you always had to do the most to make sure that everybody was good while simultaneously receiving the bare minimum. And it's just like we can't continue that. And it's like when stuff like that happens, it's really hard to find your self-worth. It's really hard to find your self-worth in the things that you enjoy. It's really hard to find yourself in your passions and what you like to do because it doesn't align with what box everybody around you has put you in. It doesn't necessarily align with how your people see you. It doesn't necessarily align with the career path that they want you to be on. It doesn't necessarily align with the views that they had for you before you could even create views for yourself. And it's just like, it creates such a struggle within us. It creates such a hole within us. It creates such a void within us because it's like, outside of your siblings, you got to step back and be like, okay, so who am I? What do I enjoy? What do I want to be? Where do I want to go? And it's like every single one of those questions, you have a huge question mark above your head because it's like you've never been taught to know. You've never been taught to know yourself outside of everyone else. You've never been taught to know your passions. You've never been taught to know the things you like, the things that you don't like. You've never been taught to speak on the things that you do like, or you've never been taught to speak on the things that you don't like. All you've been taught to do is be complacent. And the moment that you go from being complacent to actually trying to step outside and do something for yourself and be that person, you almost feel like stupid for doing it. When it comes to parents and when it comes to instilling that in our kids, I tell myself all the time, this isn't my fault. This is not something that I asked for. Am I grateful for the life that I live? 1000%. But I have to constantly remind myself when I get in those moments of feeling like I'm not good enough or feeling like I didn't do enough or feeling like I haven't been proactive enough in the family. I have to remind myself, I am my own person at the end of the day. I am my own being. I have my own thoughts. I have my own path of life. Like I have something outside of my family and I have to be okay with that. And that is something that parents have to start instilling in those kids. It is okay to be someone outside of this family. It is okay to have an identity outside of this family. It is okay to be your own person outside of this family because when it does come to time for them to be outside of the family, they don't know who they are. They don't have any identity besides being the oldest. They don't have any identity outside of that. It looks like you have something you want to say, Uncle Tay.
Well, I'm only child, right?
Mhm.
So uh no siblings, but I know my mom when she was the oldest.
Mhm.
She was the oldest of all the kids, right?
Mhm.
And my aunts uh tell me all the time. They say that she was like kind of like served as the parent.
Mhm.
Okay. But I think the position was appreciated. I think that she took it as uh she took the role, she was proud of the role.
Mhm.
And she was able to raise her younger siblings
Mhm.
and pour into them. So I think it gave her a sense of nurturing
Mhm.
early on.
Mhm.
Um, and then it allowed her to feel like she was assisting
Mhm.
my
Mhm.
grandmother.
Mhm.
She was the help. She was the one. She was the go to.
Mhm.
So you never felt as if okay, well this is my position to let me step in.
Mhm.
I'm taking my role in this family as lead.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
Um, you was your father in home in the house? Kind of sort of. Okay. Okay. So you were able to take the lead um as kind of like the head,
Mhm.
and you had a position to lead your
Mhm.
your younger siblings. So wasn't there a sense of appreciation for that?
I and I'm ne- This is no slander to being the eldest daughter because I can say that that is my greatest privilege of being an older sister. Like being that person that my siblings can turn to, I take pride in that. I take pride in being that second mother. Now, what I'm saying is there's some quiet parts to that pride. There's some hurt parts to that pride. There's some untold things that she's probably been through that nobody will ever know because she's never spoke on it. oldest siblings, especially me, because I'm the oldest of girls. I have a brother, but in the house it's girls. So I take pride in that because those are my baby dolls. Those are the people that I was able to build up. Like you said, your mom poured into your aunts. I pour into my sisters all the time. I let them know how beautiful they are. Like, I'm so glad to be that person. But outside of me being that person for them, who am I for myself?
Hmm. Okay.
Like, do you feel like your mom necessarily had an identity outside of being the oldest sibling, or was it really just her being the oldest sibling that gave her her identity?
I think she took it as, and maybe she didn't. Yeah, no. I think she just took that role and was
Mhm.
proud of it.
Mhm.
You know, um, I think she enjoyed holding on to that.
Mhm.
One sec. We got music, man. Hold on. Let me hear me in here.
That part.
Music.
Yo,
Hello.
What the deal is, baby? What's happening with it?
man, baby girl, what's going on? You all right?
Yes, sir. How are you today?
I'm doing good. I'm a little tired. Check
Mhm.
this out.
Mhm.
This is what I have to say about that. That's one way of looking at it. Okay? Did you think about it this way? Um, Being the oldest, if you take this point of view, it might change the way you understand life in general.
Mhm.
Being the oldest child, you have to take pride in the fact that even though a lot of parents won't admit it, but you helped raise an adult.
Mhm.
Okay.
You taught mom
Mm.
and dad how to be a parent by being the first, whether it's the
Mhm.
first daughter or the first son or the
For
first
sure.
child, period. Like Lamont said, maybe you're the only child. But here's the thing, because they had to go through things. Sometimes it's because of their age. Sometimes it's because of, like I said, they wasn't ready for parenthood.
Mhm.
They went through things with you that they didn't have to go through with the younger ones.
Mhm.
So they got the benefit of the change and the way to do things different as a result of what you went through. And sometimes that should be an element of pride and
Mhm.
not detriment to your soul.
Mhm.
That's how I feel about that situation.
Mhm. I can
So I
see
think
that.
you could change your point of view and say, man, I feel this way and I feel this way, and I saw myself get my ass whooped, and they didn't get theirs whooped like I did because of the same stuff. But maybe you see you. This is a totally different thing, but somebody always got to take the ass whooping for somebody else. Jesus did it.
Somebody had to take that deal. Hey, music.
Huh?
Wasn't you the oldest?
So technically, Vanessa, we have an older sister, but Vanessa was 20 something years older than Tina and I.
Mm,
So I was,
Mhm.
she had been gone. See, when we was growing up, our older sister was a grown ass woman.
okay.
We,
That's why we never
remember,
saw her.
remember, my niece. I have a niece I have a niece that's older than me. Did you
That'd
hear
be
me? I
so
have a
crazy
niece
to
that's
me.
older than me. Yeah, so she calls me uncle, and she's a couple years older than me. Now she calls me uncle. I am her uncle because that's my older sister's child. But see, in the household growing up, yes, I was the oldest. But me and my
Mhm.
sister are only a year and 4 days apart.
Mhm.
But I was a little bit different because I had to pack her everywhere with me, even though she
Mhm.
was right behind me because she was the
Mhm.
girl. So
Mhm.
Curtis got to do this. Curtis got to, because they knew I was a free spirit and I was going to move around. But I feel like being the oldest in the household, uh, yeah, I got the most ass whoopers and shit. But you know what? I was the one that did all the dirt.
I can attest to
I was the one that did
I
all the
thought I was
dirt.
a nice guy. Yeah, I
that.
thought I was a nice guy, but a lot of people said I wouldn't. You know what I'm saying? Hence, giving everybody their nicknames. But yeah,
That's what's happening. That's what's happening.
I just want to chime in,
All right,
let you
appreciate you
know,
sharing that, bro.
look at it a different way. Look at it a little bit different way. It'll help free your soul up, and you'll take more pride in the fact that you were the first, so that you actually helps train an adult on how to be a parent.
Mm.
I can dig it. I can dig
I'll
it. Good
take
way to
that one
look at it.
down.
All
For
right.
sure.
I'll
All right,
take
All
that
right.
bro.
Well, holla at y'all
Appreciate
later
you.
on, man. Love y'all.
All right.
Love
Love
you.
you, bro. All right.
Okay.
And so music. And so music. Let's read some of these off, baby girl.
Mhm.
All right. We had a wannabe say, you preaching now. All right. Miss Red Jack says yes. She was in agreement with something you said. Uh, you're the oldest. You're supposed to know better. Yes, so true. Uh, book
Recommendation.
recommendation. She says Eldest Daughter Syndrome by Jaylee Wade.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. Again, that's Eldest Daughter Syndrome by Jaylee Wade. OG said I was the oldest out of my siblings. I had to watch my sisters when my parents left the house.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. For sure. I had my cousins, so we all kind of like just did our own thing. That was the oldest of my cousins. We was left in charge or
Mm-hmm.
what have you. He had a lot of responsibility because we were some wild ones. We ain't supposed to go outside. We finna go
Mm-hmm.
outside. So I can understand, you know what I'm saying? Because it was always left, okay, well, if we're outside and something was wrong, he was the one held responsible
Mm-hmm.
because he was supposed to make sure
And how
that
old was your cousin
my
during that time?
cousin, he was probably 2 to 3 years older than us.
Mm.
Yeah. And that's kind of hard. Yeah, she would tell you, gonna tell me, we going
See?
outside any damn way.
See, and it was ones like you that didn't want to listen that made us want to rip our hair out. Cause why?
Yeah, I can dig. So Miss Rhea Jack says, yeah, but that also affects your relationship with your sibling because they look at you like the second mom and not a sister. You know what? That's
Mm-hmm.
true because I think that's how my aunties and uncles kind of looked at my mom.
Mm-hmm.
Because but it was the assistants. My grandmother worked.
Mm-hmm.
There was no grandpa, wasn't no man in the house. So
Mm-hmm.
and she had to go make things happen. So she took the role. Hey,
Mm-hmm.
you know what? Mama got to go to work, and shit, my mama was handing out ass whoopings.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's what it was. Miss Red Jack says, and you lose that sibling bond. You could, shit, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You lose that sibling bond you could have had with your brother or sister because I can dig it. Because they look at you more like
As a
a
parent,
parent.
yeah, and it's just like that's where
I can
that
dig it.
rift starts because it's like we don't necessarily have that sisterly connection. We only have that parently
Straight.
connection. And it's just like because there's three girls, my two younger siblings, I feel like they were closer with each other because they looked at each other as sisters and they
Mhm.
looked at me as second mom.
For
Like
sure.
we were all close for sure, but it was like, oh, Raya, we gotta like tiptoe around her a little bit, like kind of how they do mom. And it's just like, I'm not your mom. You
Straight.
could talk to me about whatever. We could be clicked up. We could do whatever. But it's like they don't look at me like a sister. They look at me as a second mom. So they always automatically think, oh, we're gonna get in trouble by her. You know
Yeah.
where she's
Yeah.
girl. We're only 3 years apart. Calm it down.
But you were the one keeping the order.
Yes,
So
but it's like that's so much strain,
uh,
especially with being so young. It's like you don't. It's like yes, I was keeping the order, but who is keeping my mental?
mm,
I was keeping the order out here, but was I keeping the order up here?
for sure.
Like it was easy for me to dictate and facilitate physically, but how am I doing that emotionally when it
Right.
came to how I feel? You know?
Okay.
That's where and I feel like that's where your mother like yes, she took pride in being the oldest, but like what was going on up here in her mind because there was probably some conversations her and your grandmother was having that she wasn't having with the other kids, but because she was the oldest, she felt like she could confide in her and talk to her about certain things. And it's like certain things kids aren't supposed to know about, or certain things kids
Yeah.
aren't supposed to be told about. Certain things we're just not supposed to be in. But because we're the first, we're kind of like our mother's therapist, and we're kind of like our mom's, like, like shoulder to cry on. And it's just like,
Thank you. Yeah,
what about
yeah.
me?
My mom was she was probably the closest to my grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
She was very close to my grandmother. So yeah, and they kind of acted like sisters.
Sisters. Mm-hmm. I'm knowing.
You know what I'm
I'm
saying?
already
I can
knowing.
dig. I can dig. So you got I thought we had wannabe
Wannabe.
said well, I think it was a privilege to be. However, I think, and we had a village. Okay, okay.
Mm.
Now y'all really on y'all own.
Yes,
And that's
that
true,
part.
because there was, yeah, because you did
Community.
have the community. You had close uh uncles and aunts that
Mm-hmm.
were around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you did have that. So
That's a
that's what's happening.
totally different perspective.
Yeah. Miss Red Jack said, you lose your sense of autonomy, though you didn't ask to be uh parentified, parent, parentified, or be raised, or to raise children when you're still a child. For
Mm-hmm.
sure, sis, for sure. Uh Rookie, what's up, y'all? What's up, Rook?
Hey,
What's happening?
Rookie.
You got Cam said first time parent plus first child equals both learning how to be the first. So that's kind of
1000%.
what music was saying.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're both learning.
Mm-hmm.
You taught your mother and your
Mm-hmm.
father how to be parents, because yeah,
Mm-hmm.
they had to learn how to do it through you.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. I can dig that, Cam. Uh
No, literally, they looked at me like I was just
you
supposed.
law.
I was handing them out like candy. I don't even like getting whoopings myself. So if you think that I'm finna punish you, you too far gone.
Yeah, you the
That,
law. You the
yeah.
law.
Mm-mm.
Sis,
That's
what's up,
not me.
sis? Sis said I was the oldest, but my mom had support from her siblings
Hmm.
who helped her teach me how to be more of a sister instead of a mother.
And that's kind of what Wannabe
Okay.
was saying, having
Right.
that
That's the
village.
village. Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's the village. So it's not all on you.
Mm-hmm.
You can go tell Annie.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Help your sister out.
For sure.
Help her. But it's like when Annie 55 minutes away in a whole nother city, in a
For
whole
sure.
nother state, it's like, oh, I really got to be the one to figure this out. Like, I really have to take all this in and really like keep this house together. And I feel like when I was younger, there was plenty of moments where it was like, dang, I wish my grandma was here. Dang, I wish my auntie was here.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know what to do. And it's like, when I was younger, I was the kid that was covering my sister's ears when arguments was happening, but I'm still the one with my ears wide open, hearing everything that's going in, and it's just like I'm just like, don't even think about it. It's okay.
Okay.
I'm the one that's hiding my siblings in the closet when things is getting real rowdy, but it's like I'm also still checking, like, okay, is everything okay? Nothing's broken, right? And it's just like it's certain things that I've heard and it's certain things that I've seen as being the oldest that my siblings would never have seen or heard. And it's like
Right.
stuff like that is what's engraved in my memories. Stuff like that is what's engraved in my head. And it's like I'll forever take pride in being the oldest, but it's like,
Hmm.
man, to be the oldest, you got to write a book on that one because it's just like, it's tough.
That
That's
makes
tough.
sense. That
Like,
makes sense. Does make sense.
and I feel like that's why I say we be giving our parents grace. We understand that we're your first, but you got to understand that we're your first. You got to understand that we're not your first like step parent. You got to understand that we're your first child. We're your first baby. We're your first, like, kid to be brought onto this earth. And with that, we don't need to bear the responsibility of being the first parent. And I understand. I love supporting my mother. I love supporting my parents. I love being that support, but it's just like in those times when I need support, it's hard to ask. It's hard for me to get that support from it's hard for me to get the support from my people because I've never been one to ask. I've never been one to reach out for the support.
So it seems like it would have shortchanged the younger ones in a sense, because with you, it seems like obviously you were the ones. You and your mom seem close.
Hmm.
You and your mom seem like y'all are pretty close.
Hmm.
Just y'all kicking it. Y'all talking on the phone. Y'all, you know.
Hmm.
So, what about the siblings?
How are their
What
relationships with
about their
mom?
yeah? How's their relationship with mom?
I
How
feel
does that
like
affect their relationship with mom?
with me being the oldest or them being the
With
youngest.
them being the youngest.
Hmm. I feel like, mom, when you see this, please don't take any offense to it. But I feel like they kind of laugh at my mom a little bit because it's
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, your mom, but like Raya's been mom, you know? So it's kind of just like they kind of look as mom, like, especially now that they're older, as like, oh, friend, like that's my homegirl. Like, like they look at it like as that type of relationship because, like you said, for your mother, my mom was the breadwinner. So she's the one that's at work. She's the one that's constantly out the house. She's the one that's cooking and cleaning. So she's always preoccupied
Mm-hmm.
in making sure that the house is straight and making sure that we're straight. And so they always looked at me as being the mother. So when it came time for mom to really step in and, play mom or like be mom, it was just like
Hard for them to take.
are you mom for real?
Right.
Like, where's Raya? Where's she at? Because I need,
Right. I didn't
yeah,
say
it's
it.
just like, Raya didn't say that. So,
Hard to
okay,
take it
girl.
serious.
Yeah.
Rook, what's up, baby?
Hey, what's going on?
Hello.
What's happening with you? You good?
Yeah, I'm good. I didn't. I wanted you to finish your sentence first. You were talking. I wanted to ask you about. Um, it doesn't have to be dark, but my question I had earlier was when you were talking about you being the older sibling and having to take care of the kids and things.
Mhm.
I was thinking like it seems like you don't even have the option to like. Let's say you know how deadbeat dads they just leave and things like that. Like you're not only a part of the family. Now you're the mother. So it really feels like you took both roles. Like, oh, you're still the daughter, so you can't leave. And then we need you for the house so that you can take care of these kids. So like my question is, can you leave? Like when do you even have the opportunity to be like, I'm gonna put myself first, I'm gonna leave. I'm not the mother. I didn't make these kids. I know I'm the sister and I'm leaving my family, but I think that's okay. I'm gonna put me first and leave because this isn't what I signed up for. If because I didn't sign up at all.
You know how hard it is to put yourself first? First of all, you get guilt tripped a lot for wanting to put
Yeah.
yourself first. So it's like, even with college, I was like, okay, I want to go out of the city, but I want to be close to my family just in case they need me. So it's just like you're sitting in that indecision, in between of that indecision, because it's like you don't want to go too far because you don't want to be away from them, but you do want to go far because you want to explore something different. And then when you do like, okay, well, this is where I want to go, don't you think that's a little far? You don't want to be close to home. Texas State is only 45 minutes down the street. That's right down the highway. That's right down the
Yeah, they
tollway.
always want you to be in proximity
And it's like, so
forever.
then that's forever. And so then it's like when you be like, okay, you know what, I'm gonna muster up the courage to actually like, I actually feel like I can be on my own. I really feel like I can, branch out. They start shooting them ideas down left and right. So even if they're like not physically holding you hostage, they're emotionally and mentally holding you hostage because they make you feel bad for wanting to explore different things and they make you feel bad for wanting to leave. And it's just like, oh, you're really going to leave me? Oh, you really don't want to be
But
here with me? And it's just like, girl, I've been here for like 22 years. You don't want to
is
let
that
me.
so? Another question is okay. A
Mhm,
17-year-old comes up to you and wants some advice. Doesn't give
mhm.
you the whole thing, but you already know like what we just spoke about, and she's like, "I want to cut off my family. I'm just gonna go." Would you? What side would you be on? Encourage her to stick it out, or tell her take that BYU college acceptance and cut off your mom, your dad? Don't look back. What would be your suggestion?
I'm gonna tell her to take it and run as fast as she's ever ran before, honestly. Like, I'm being so serious because it's just like, like I said, we know who we are with being the oldest siblings, but who are we are individually? We can't be the oldest siblings forever because it's not going to be fair
Right.
when you're still sitting at home at 27 years old trying to figure the house together. And here your siblings go. Your siblings then went to college in New York. Your other sibling then went to
Yeah.
college in Hawaii. Your other sibling then uh moved to Europe or something. And it's just like, and you're still sitting here playing the oldest sibling role. You're still sitting here playing the therapist role. You're still sitting here picking up pieces to a broken house while everybody else got to spread their wings. And it's just like, wait, why didn't I do that? Why are they
And
allowed
it's
to do that?
forever guilt tripping. Like the
Forever.
deadbeat dad could leave and never come back. Oh, I just didn't like that girl. That female was tripping. She's yelling this and that. But you're 30 and you're still thinking about why did I leave my family? I left my sisters, my brothers. Like it was I didn't. I'm not with the mother. Like you don't have that relationship with the mother. Like it's not like we're in that relationship. So there's no
Mm-mm.
excuse for you to just oh you left your mom. Come on, we don't do that.
Why would
You
you
don't
do
leave your
that?
family like that. It's forever, and you can never. It can never come back. It never switches back. It feels
So,
like you make
Brooke,
that
do you have
decision, and then
any?
it's over.
Do you have any siblings?
Oh, you asking me or you asking? Sorry.
You. Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I have a older sister and a younger brother. I'm the middle.
Okay, so you're in the middle. You're the middle child. Okay,
Right.
your older sister,
Mhm.
she had to take that role.
No, 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 no. My mom, she took all the roles. The
Mm.
dad, the mom, the grandma. She did every she was helping her parents while she was dealing with me, all three of her babies cuz she had us when she was a teenager and she was still just working two jobs, catching the bus, didn't have a car. And then her mom, my grandma was like very godly. So but not but in a bad way, I feel. Like the stereotypes like she was, I can't believe you did this to the family, and just kind of, she almost took it personal when she got pregnant with the babies, and was so she just didn't help at all. Like the
Mm,
relationship is different now because she's the grandma. So like, of course, it flips. So she kind of pretends like, oh, I was there the whole time. I was helping. I supported you the whole. But it wasn't like that. Every story, I
Mm-mm.
think every single story my mom has ever told me, it's been a bad one. It's
mm,
like so. Yeah, with the I can't relate personally to the well, I guess my older sister can't relate personally to the
Taking on that role.
like going off and having to be the mother, but I've seen my mother have to take all the roles. So if she would have luckily she didn't, but like if she would have gave up and like, you know, no one's helping me. I don't have baby daddies helping me out. I don't have no one helping me and just ran off or left us or just didn't have us. I couldn't even blame her. Like she had all the cards stacked against her and things like
mm.
so. I could see a
Okay.
many stories where it works. Like it's almost like survivorship bias. I'll be like, oh, it worked for you, so you should be suggesting, but not really. Like anybody in my mom's situation, I'll be like, come on, it's 2026. Pay that $500. Go ahead and like, you know what I mean? Like
Take that
that will
flight.
always be my suggestion.
Damn, bro.
Take that flight.
I'm telling you, in this economy, I can't even, you can't even feed yourself, and you're having kids. Nah, not suggesting. I would not
The
suggest that. No,
government is not
definitely.
I
assisting
can
like
dig.
they said. Wait, was your mom the oldest?
Yeah, she's the
Mm,
oldest of two. She has a younger sister.
mm, that makes. Are they
So
close
Yeah.
in age?
okay, let me think. I think they're. I want to say 8 or 6 years apart.
Oh, okay.
Do you think your mom? So wait a minute, 8 or 6 years apart. Yeah. So your mom she had that role.
Yeah, because she
Which
was
what?
Yeah,
16
exactly.
when the
So
baby
All
was
the
so here's
born.
the
roles. She did
benefit.
everything.
Here's the benefits to that role.
Hmm.
You just told me that your mom took the whole thing on her shoulders and she worked her thing young, right? No assistant. She handled her business, right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
She was trained. So isn't that a benefit of
Right,
like
but
To
but I feel
society,
like that
yeah, but
benefit is survivorship bias. Like think about it. Like you got your daughter and she walks through a long alley to work every day, and then she's got the resilience. She doesn't even need a maps on her phone. She knows how to get around town, doing to take this bus, that bus. But just because your daughter's just going through these dark alleys and knows her shortcuts and knows her way around town, you wouldn't suggest that to anybody else. Like, yeah,
mm,
don't leave your phone at home. Really know the city as a woman and go out and do this. Get your resilience up. No, there's things that that are unnecessary, the things that you shouldn't have to go through, that it's not worth the experience that you think that you're gonna get. So I wouldn't suggest that. I think it's just we survived and it worked out in this situation, but I wouldn't suggest it to nobody. Not that it was hard.
Mhm.
Like I seen she did so she's to this day still does so much. And I congratulate her I'm like, I can't believe you did it. 3 kids by yourself. I don't know how you did it. But I wouldn't suggest that to anybody. I
Mhm.
congratulate my mom, but everybody, I think she probably said the same thing. Like, oh,
Don't
just
do
because it
it.
worked for me doesn't. It's not gonna work for none.
Well,
Like, not that
here's a
she's
homework
better. Just don't
assignment.
do it.
Here's a homework assignment. I want you to ask your mom. Ask her how she felt about, and how did it benefit, if it benefited her at all.
Right.
Ask her, um, was it detriment? Was it this something that just tore her
Ask
down?
her mental.
Or was it something that built her up, trained her, and got her ready to raise her own children under any circumstance? Um, you said she had to play Pops too, right? So
Yeah.
that means Pops was gone. That means she had to do it by herself. Did that did her experience with her siblings strengthen her and give her what it took to make sure that you guys were upstanding young folks? Ask her and let me know.
Will do.
All right,
Mm.
all right, all right. You on tomorrow. That's old Rook.
Yes.
Rook and OG.
Shout
OG
out.
and the
Thank you,
rookie.
Ryan, for having me on. You
Of
do anything?
course.
I'll be in
Thank
the
you.
comments. Peace out, y'all.
All right, bro. All right. You have, let me see, we got, all right, Miss Red.
I think you need to go higher.
Huh?
Keep going.
Oh, yeah. Oh, here it is. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, Miss Red Jack says, yeah, you're absorbing it all, the good, bad, and the ugly.
Hmm.
Okay. Won't it be said it's fucked up, but it makes and shapes up for the great things ahead. Now you know better. So you break the curse. Is it a
Hmm.
curse? Damn. Damn, won't it be?
See,
I
I would say
guess
you got lucky
speaking from my only child, I guess I
being
can't.
one. Yeah,
I
you
can't
got to
be.
sit out on this conversation.
I
I'm
guess I gotta
sorry.
sit down
Yeah,
on it, but
you got to
damn.
sit out because it is. I mean, it's a blessing and a curse because it's just like yes, like Rook was saying, his mom is so resilient. She's so strong. She's this 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 soldier of a woman, but it's like, did she ask to be that? Did she ever get the choice to be like, maybe I don't want to be strong today? No, she couldn't.
Mm.
Because on those days where she didn't even want to be strong, she had no choice but to be strong. And it's like on those days where we don't want to play sibling, I mean, where we don't want to play parent, we have no choice but to play parent. And it's just like that's an exhausting role. I won't trade it for the world, but it's like it's exhausting.
Run for
It's
the hills, huh?
like you're running up a hill with a parachute on. Like, what?
Miss Red Jack said, yeah, because your mom doesn't want to release you because she still need you, not even your siblings, but she needs you.
Mm.
Yeah. Miss Red Jack, were you the oldest? I'm asking you if you could put it in the comments. Were you the oldest?
That she was.
She said, "Oh, okay. She was the oldest.
She
Okay,
is.
okay. Um, and you need her to release you.
Mhm.
Boy, I can't even speak from only child
Mm-mm.
respect, because man,
I'm telling you, that's a whole different ball game.
okay. Wannabe said, no wonder the rookie throwed off him and got middle child syndrome.
Ah.
Rookie mama had to be had to wait a minute. Rookie mama had to be. See, yeah,
You
there
talk
he
about
go.
him throw it
There he
off.
go again.
He gotta be drunk.
Raise his ass plus two more. That's a hell of a woman.
Trying to say he a
What's
animal.
up? All right. So Miss Red, yeah, yes, she did confirm that yes, she is an older sibling. Okay, that's
That.
what's up. That's what's up.
Can you scroll up just a tiny bit more? But
Which one?
Up just a
More.
little bit more. Oh yeah, we're going back to this curse.
This curse.
Yes.
Okay.
We
Come on. I'm listening.
let me articulate it.
I wanted to be a brother so bad, and it didn't matter what type. I wanted to be a brother so bad.
Did you get a dog?
Hell no.
But
It was me and my mama.
you
And
had
my
cousins, you
cousins.
said.
Me and my I had my cousins. I had
Mhm.
my cousins. Yeah. Yeah, my cousins. So
See, I think the aesthetic of being an oldest sibling is wonderful. You know, ooh, I have somebody that I could play with. I have somebody that I could boss around. Yeah, yeah. But the responsibility, that shadow behind the aesthetic, that's the scary part. That's the part that nobody wants to talk about. That's the part that nobody wants to open up about. And it's just like, that's the hard part. And I feel like that's the part that parents also don't want to acknowledge because they're quick to acknowledge, oh, you're so mean, you're so rude, you're so disrespectful, you're so angry, you're so this, but it's just like, why am I like this? They never take the time to genuinely get to the root of why the oldest is always that type of way. Because I can say that mostly all oldest siblings, especially oldest daughters, are angry or they're very hurt. They carry a lot of pain, you know, they lash out or they don't know how to control their emotions or they control their emotions too well to where they easily mask it. And it's just like parents kind of look at our behaviors as something that we just came up with, not realizing that it was a conditioning thing, not realizing that it was something that we were taught to do. And it's just like the curse carries itself on even when you move out the house. Like Miss Red Jack said, when you have a mother, especially as being the daughter, you automatically become her like consoler. You automatically become her therapist. You automatically become that person for her. And it's just like in turn, she doesn't always become that person for you.
mm,
And so it's like not only are you swallowing her pain, you're swallowing your sister's pain. You're swallowing the pain of the house. You're swallowing your own pain. It ain't got nowhere else to go. It literally has nowhere else to go, and it's just like even going back to what Uncle Kerr has said. I love the role. I love the opportunity. I love the position, but we need to start talking about the shadows that come with it. We need
okay.
to start talking about not even just talking about the shadows. We need to start having these conversations with our kids to prevent these types of feelings. We need to start having these conversations with ourselves to step back and realize, okay, how am I treating all of my kids? Not just how I'm treating one.
Okay.
How am I treating everybody? And I'm not talking about how I'm treating everybody as a collective. How am I treating them individually?
Right.
Because at the end of the day, they're not all just siblings. They're not all just, oh, one, two, three. No, they're all individual people. So how am I treating and tending to their individual needs without grouping them up as siblings? Because it's easy for parents to group siblings up. And it's easy for them to put all of them in one category, not realizing that all siblings need different types of love, especially the oldest sibling. And I feel like it's so easy to dismiss the feelings of an oldest sibling. And I feel like it's so easy to dismiss the things that an oldest sibling has been through because, oh, they got it. I'm not worried about them. Oh,
For sure.
I did good on that one. I don't know how I did good on that one because I was messed up in the head when I was raising them. You see how you said you was messed up in the head when you were raising me? Like, did you ever think that I'm a little messed up in the head? You know? Hey,
I can dig
I ain't drunk, not funny. Ah,
it.
sound like it.
Oh, you got old school. School said, I agree. My older brother beat me up. And I beat my little brother up. But I took it as getting ourselves ready for outside fights training. Okay. That's what's happening. That's what's happening.
I did that with my siblings.
Yeah,
We
you beat
was
him up.
roughing each other up,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Hey, I'm just getting y'all prepared for whenever y'all hit the streets. You know, they're gonna be ready to fight." And it was just like, "Girl, there's different methods to that, you know."
Good stuff. I can dig it. I can dig it.
Being the oldest is definitely a blessing and a curse. And I want to speak on behalf of all oldest siblings when I say this before we close out. Y'all may think we're okay.
Mm.
We're not always okay. So in the moments where y'all think that we're okay, or in the moments where y'all have that hunch, like maybe they are too quiet, please go check on them. Because it's probably some things from 10 years ago that's weighing heavy on their heart. It's probably some fights that replay in their head. It's probably some arguments that replay in their head. It's probably some hurtful words that weren't necessarily said to them but could have been said to their mother or could have been said to their father that they've in turn taken in and started to internalize and think of themselves as that. So check on your oldest. Even if they're long out the house, make sure that they're okay. Make sure that because they were your first, don't let them be your first fuck up. You feel me? Don't let them be don't be their first heartbreak. Yes, we could be each other's first, but let it be positive first. And it's okay to mess up. Y'all are first time parents. This is y'all's first time doing it. But what we need is that reassurance and knowing that, hey, I know I probably messed up on you a little bit, but I want you to know that I'm going to accept that. I'm going to apologize and I'm going to do better moving forward. Because that's really all that we need as oldest siblings. We just need that knowing that we are actually seen. We're actually heard. Like we're not just going unnoticed. We're not just being put on the back burner because we always got it, because we don't necessarily always got it. And I feel like as parents, as much grace as we give y'all, in turn, we just want the same grace back. Like y'all learning just as much as we're learning. And we trying to learn with y'all, but we can't learn when we're constantly being overshadowed by everything that's going on in the house. Like allow us to be people and allow us to be our own people. And don't automatically put us in this box because of your other children, but allow us that space and that opportunity and that comfortability to spread our wings and fly. Because man, being the oldest is it's a hard one. um hey, I think that's pretty much it. That's all I got. Yeah, this is just give us grace. We give y'all grace. I just And I'm gonna speak back to the oldest siblings out there. It's okay to be you. It's okay to have your own personality. It's okay to step outside the house. It's okay to take that first step away from your siblings to be that example of what it's like to not be a product of the things that go on in your house. Because there's something happening in everybody's house. Just allow your be that role model sibling for your sibling. Don't be that parent. It is easy to fall into that parent trap, but remember that you are your own person outside of your siblings. You are your own person outside of your house. You're your own person outside of your family. Allow yourself to get outside of that box and really like spread your wings. Really go out there. Really put yourself out there. Like do not confine yourself to the things that the people around you have been telling you that you are. Continue to show up for yourself. Continue to break out of these boxes and continue to be you outside of whatever everybody else is telling you that you are. Be you and do you.